on now to How to Build a Girl, which has just come on Amazon Prime. This is from director Koki Gidroik. I completely butchered her name, but I apologize. And it stars Beanie Feldstein, who is the sister of Jonah Hill. Am I correct with that?
Yes, you are.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought so. I was like, oh. And basically, the story here, it's about a 16-year-old teenager living in 1993 in Wolverhampton. Now, Wolverhampton is a place close to my heart because I was actually born in Dudley in the West Midlands, which is right near Wolverhampton. And we have family friends who live in Wolverhampton, who used to go watch Wolverhampton games at the football. So I was really intrigued, firstly, this was filmed there, because from the poster, it doesn't look like it's set in the UK. It looks like it's more New York City for some reason. And it's about her as a teenager. She's in a working class family on a council estate in Wolverhampton. And she grows up. She looks up to people like Karl Marx, Sigmund Freud, all Sylvia Plath, all the usual crushes that a teenage girl would have. And she wants to become a really popular writer. She's been writing in class, but she becomes very conflicted about kind of where her life is going. She wants to be a music journalist, but she just doesn't quite have the confidence and is quite bullied in school. That all changes when she basically goes to London, the big city, and decides to be a rock journalist who goes to different rock bands and writes about them in the headlines in their newspaper. But she finds it's not as sweet as she thought it was. And like I said before, this is filmed in Wolverhampton. And you couldn't tell at first, to be honest with you, because I think although most of the cast do a pretty good job with the Wolverhampton accent, I think Paddy Constein, he does a really good job with, "You're right, bub," and all those expressions that you hear from Wolverhampton. And then you have Beanie Feldstein, who I'm kind of confused why she did this project to begin with. We saw her in Booksmart last year, really talented actress, very sparky, very charismatic, and can really light up a scene. And she does so here. I've got to point out, I think she delivers a really good performance here. She really does light the screen. I think it's a perfect role for her. She plays it very well. She played a similar character in Booksmart. And the only issue is that she can't do a Wolverhampton accent to save her life. And I have seen other critics being really kind to her and saying, yeah, she did a really good job. And I was watching a different movie, but I understand she's from America. I understand that it's a very hard accent, but I don't know whether they hired anyone to work with her with the accent. And if they did, I think I blame them. And if they didn't, I think she should have. Because I can think of so many other British actresses that would have done a far better job with the accent. And you're probably thinking, Dan, you're being really hard, but it was really distracting for me because I think she does do a good performance, but her accent was just really frustrating for me because it's just like, are you trying? Are you not trying? I didn't even know at points. What I struggle with is this whole kind of rock music element to it, that we're supposed to believe that she loves rock music when she doesn't at all. Like I said, her room is filled with Karl Marx. Her room is filled with Sylvia Plath. Her room is filled with, all these writers and political activists. And you're like, but she doesn't like music. She doesn't like rock music. So when they kind of push in that direction of her going to a rock journalist, newspaper, and she has to go into all these different bands, I was a bit like, this is strange to me. This feels very, very forced. I would have liked it maybe if she had hoped to be like a novelist or someone who writes about Karl Marx and all these other people that she looks up to. They're very much, I don't know why they were put in the film. And I do feel like with these stories, there is a bit of political peddling at the background with studio and the production around it. So yeah, I found this film very strange. I just thought it was kind of very bland at times. I thought there's some good performances here. I think Beanie Feldstein does a good job overall. But yeah, very, very strange.
I'm with you to a degree. So first I want to pick up on, I think Beanie Feldstein, absolutely terrific. I thought she was the best thing about the film. And her accent, I thought she did a good job. I gotta say, yeah. I gotta side with those other critics that you were saying about there. I thought she did a considering.
Do you mean? Yeah. Do you mean because she's American? Because you must have noticed compared to Paddy and the other actors, where, like for example, the teacher in the movie, they were doing really good Wolverhampton accents. Was it in a sense that you thought, oh, I'm going to give her slack because she's American?
Yes, it was to
Okay.
that degree. I thought in the context of the fact that literally last year we saw her in Booksmart, where she's doing playing an American character. She is American. I think in the sense that she is an American actress doing her best, not to just do a British accent, but to do a Wolverhampton accent. It's a tough one to nail, and I thought she give it a good shot. I appreciated the fact that she at least tried, and she didn't come over and go, oh no, I'm just gonna like literally do a generic British accent. So yeah, you're right, like it's not perfect, and maybe it's not as good as the other performers in the film, but she gave her a shot, and I think considering her American background, I thought she did do a good job. And away from the accent, I think she in general is a great actress in anything that she's in, whatever, how big or small her role is. And I thought she was terrific in this. I thought she was really good. And if anything, she was sort of the best thing about it for me, because otherwise I am completely on the same page as you. And I think the film overall is a mess. I think it's awkward. I think it is aimless. It's like as aimless and awkward as the central character is in the film. And I'm not sure if maybe that's the point. The fact that, she's a 16-year-old girl without any kind of real direction. But even though the character may have no real direction, it doesn't mean that your film shouldn't have a direction. And I just kind of kept waiting for it to decide what it wanted to be. There are different aspects that it kind of tricks you into thinking it's going to go down, different avenues do you think it's going to go down, and then it sort of just goes down a completely other direction. So you've got stuff with her family, which I agree with you again, it is the best part of the movie, the stuff with her family. Then you've got the stuff with the film, the music journo side of it. And then she meets Alfie Allen, Lily Allen's brother, who I thought was going to be really central to the film, and was going to suddenly turn into a relationship between her and Alfie Allen's character. But then they have a couple of scenes together, and then he disappears for like another 20, 30 minutes. So I was really confused, and I just, the whole time I was sat there just wanting it to make up its mind, decide what it kind of wanted to do, and just maybe settle down a bit and get into a good rhythm. But every time it started to get to a good place, it felt like it just went completely the other way. And I get it. It's sort of, it says at the beginning it's based on a true-ish story. And this is the issue you have sometimes. Obviously, this is based on a semi-autobiographical book by Caitlin Moran. And when you have situations like this, sometimes I think writers get too bogged down in the truth of the subject matter to the point where they forget to make it really entertaining or structurally sound. So I feel like the writing in this instance is a case of going, well, that didn't happen, so therefore, I can't put that in the movie. But as it stands, it's got great performances. It's okay. It made me laugh a couple of times. I think there are one or two funny sequences in there. But otherwise, yeah, real disappointment. And I'm surprised that a lot of critics are praising it, to be honest, because it felt like a bit of a mess to me.